Hello and welcome back. I am Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana, and you are watching Marksman TV. Welcome back to this week's gun store vlog, where we will be talking about the question of the week around social media, the woes of being a gun store owner and trying to promote yourself on social media, sort of the ins and outs of that and some of the difficulties that you might face. Also, we will do some inventory stuff, but I will start with the question of the week this time. Anyway, if that all sounds interesting to you, please stick around. That's coming up now. Okay, let's go ahead and start this one off with the question of the week, and that is going to revolve around operating a gun store and trying to promote your business on social media. Now, like I said, with these gun store vlogs, I'm trying to put you in the mindset of a gun store owner and what it's like to operate a gun store. And operating any type of business, being on social media is just inherently important. For many businesses, it is the lifeblood of your success. Because in this day and age, everybody is on social media, whether you are considered customers, consumers, businesses, everybody is there in one facet or another. Now, of course, the advantages of social media are, let's even go back 20 years. If you're running a business and you wanted to reach your customer base, say you were a brick and mortar store, typically your reach was just beyond the four walls of your store. Your market was just the people who happened to live in your community. It was very difficult reaching new customers in new areas unless you had physical stores in those locations. For example, a Blockbuster Video, movie rentals or anything like that, you would literally have to have locations, 3 or 4 in any city in order to really have your product expand to the customer base of that city. And then in the next city, you had 4 or 5 locations. Today, one large company such as Netflix can operate out of a single location, and through the beauty of social networking and the internet, can reach a vast array, millions and millions and millions of people. This is also why the typical brick and mortar business model of positioning yourself through multiple brick and mortar locations like Sears, Macy's, big box retailers like this is why the model is unsustainable, because a large company like Amazon can operate out of smaller hubs throughout the country and ship their products via the internet without having to actually pay for and staff physical retail locations. That's why you see them all pretty much going out of business everywhere. Social media reach and everything has basically become very important for small businesses like mine, because I can reach millions and millions of people. I do it every month on YouTube. I've been doing this, I guess, for 2 years now with over 20,000 subscribers and 6 million video views, which, again, before social media, there is no way somebody like me would be able to reach that many potential customers unless there was some sort of social media presence or unless I had multiple locations throughout the entire country. Again, 20 years ago, if you're living in Texas right now and I'm up here in Indiana, why would my business matter to you at all? You will never shop with me. But today I'm shipping guns all over the country. That's after I leave today. I'm going to be dropping off a bunch of things at FedEx, stuff I've sold on Gunbroker, stuff people have seen on Instagram or on my YouTube channel that they call me up and they want to buy. So there's many different ways that I can connect and sell and grow my business nationally. Now, of course, other businesses can even reach globally. I can't really sell globally in the gun market, but at least I can nationally. Now, one huge negative, and this is pretty much predominantly focused on if we're talking legal consumer goods within the United States that you can buy and sell, there is one huge area where there is an exception, and unfortunately that is in firearms. So fortunately, as it is right now, gun stores like mine, we can operate pretty fluidly through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, as is apparent, but there's always this pressure and there's always this change. So when I first opened up my store on Facebook, ever since I've had my business page on Facebook, I have not been able to do promotions. So if you own a bakery, you can pay Facebook for targeted advertisements of your store or products that you are putting out, where Facebook has a subset of data where they have collected people in your demographic, a certain gender, a certain age, people who have an interest in baked goods. They even know that. And you can pay Facebook $150 to share your post with 3,000 people in your area that would be really good candidates for being potential customers. Now, since day one, I have not been able to take part in that because Facebook does not allow such advertising for firearms. Also, as many of you may know, Facebook has lately changed a couple years ago their policies on people being able to buy and sell firearms privately. Now, that has not affected retail or an actual licensed dealer. So in their terms of service, actually on our Facebook page, we put out if I get in used inventory, I put that inventory online with the price and everything, and people would always message me saying, be careful, you're violating the rules. They don't allow you to do that. Actually, in their terms of service, gun stores like mine are allowed to do that. We just can't pay for targeted advertising. The only people that can see those posts are people who will, click to your page to view them. Now, another thing you guys might realize is YouTube, and YouTube's sort of the big thing because, again, I reach the most amount of people through my YouTube channel, but in past years, very large channels like Hank Strange and James Yeager and other people like that have been completely wiped off of YouTube. Other channels like Military Arms channels and Hickok 45 have gotten account strikes strictly for posting gun content that didn't necessarily violate any terms of service, but it was just objectionable to advertisers. And one thing is certain is most gun content from large channels is unmonetized, so deemed advertiser unfriendly. Therefore, they are not getting paid for those posts. Fortunately, most of my videos are still monetized. Probably about 10 to 15 of them have been demonetized. I've got about 140 videos. But I know it's coming, as my channel gets larger and I show up on the radar a little bit more, I know I will hit that point where I become demonetized, and I will hit that point where after, shootings and periods of anti-gun hysteria, I will start getting account strikes too. It's just something I know is going to happen. And that right there is really unfortunate because people who sell cars, people who sell baked goods, people who sell trading cards or sports memorabilia never have to worry about any of that. Now, getting back to Facebook, one of the unfortunate things that's just happened to us, it's sort of our first step in censorship, is I'm pretty sure we've been shadow banned on Facebook, which basically means most new people can't find us on Facebook when they search us in the Facebook search. You have to find us either through a direct link, which you can get to on our website, or through Google, or somebody sending you a link to our site or sharing our content on their page, and then you click through that. But if you're just on Facebook trying to do a generic search, or if you're on Facebook looking for gun stores in Indianapolis, we're not going to show up. We're completely ghosted out. And unfortunately, too, customers have complained about not seeing our content, being unliked from our page without them authorizing or without them going through and doing it themselves. So Facebook, for whatever reason, is basically burying us. And again, if we were like selling trading cards or something, I'm sure that wouldn't be happening. It has everything to do with the fact that we sell guns. So what we've done in this case is we've opened up an account on Minds, minds.com, which I will leave my handle to and a link to in the description if you want to follow us there. But I'm going to have to migrate away from Facebook for the most part because of that and start posting on a lesser known platform, which again, unfortunately, reduces my reach to my audience. I did also start an Instagram page, which, I can post things that I'm not going to sell guns on it, but I'm just going to post pictures of new inventory and stuff we get in. Like I've said on a previous video, you can go follow me on Instagram if you want to support me there. But like I said, if you want to see more of the stuff we get in, plus our pricing, go follow me over on Minds. Now, fortunately, we've hit this sort of impasse where we are getting a lot of new tech companies emerging, which offer alternatives to people like me. And you see this in a lot of other conservative sort of thought videos, and different conservative political figures getting banned and shadow banned and that sort of thing off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and they are having to sort of migrate over to these alternative sites. I've already in the past, during the whole YouTube scare about a year and a half ago when gun channels were literally being knocked off, I went and started an account on BitChute, and I'll probably continue posting there. But it's an interesting dynamic that over the past month and a half, we've noticed, people on YouTube who would watch the videos and want to go follow us on Facebook would constantly message me, I can't find you, where are you, is your page, has it been terminated, blah, blah, blah. And finally I got to the point where I went through my account, my wife's account, my parents' account, had friends look, and nobody can find me. So, unfortunately it's happened, and it kind of gave credence to this thought on this video of, well, that's an interesting topic of discussion. When being in the age of social media, where social media, and I'm not talking about political discourse or being, censored from having particular points of views, that's terrible in and of itself. But when you are talking about entering a segment of a particular business, which is 100% legal, and in the United States we are operating a 100% legal organization, and we are trying to make a living. We are the only industry that I can think of, maybe tobacco, maybe alcohol, maybe they would be in the same boat. If you work at a tobacco shop or a liquor store, let me know if you guys go on social media and if you have the same issues. But at least in the gun industry, and I know that, I know for a fact it's not just me, it's a lot of other people, you can see it. It's really hard to make a living in this business in and of itself, but the most important sales tool available to all businesses right now is social media. And we are like one of the only industries where it's just, we're constantly getting dumped on and banned and buried and account strikes and demonetized. And it's just, we're sort of at the epicenter of this ideological war, of course, where firearms are sort of looked at as this very conservative, very far left is very opposed to firearm ownership as a general rule. I know that doesn't apply to everyone. And firearm ownership is usually something enjoyed by people on the right or more conservative people. And I'm not trying to get political at all, but I'm just trying to call it for what it is. And then these big tech companies are run by very left-leaning individuals, which have a personal interest in burying or not promoting the sale or promotion or enjoyment of the firearm hobby or defensive culture or anything like that. So hopefully that'll change one of these days. I'm not sure if it will. I think what it would probably take is government intervention to put restrictions and or regulations on these tech companies. I don't know if I'm really in favor of that. Coming from somebody who works in a very highly regulated industry, I can't really say, well, I'm in favor of deregulation of firearms, but in favor of more regulation on social media tech sites. I'm kind of generally in favor of deregulation in general, as long as, of course, that's a whole topic for a whole other debate on what you're deregulating and how you're doing it. So I don't really know where I lay on that one, but it just, you basically, I do like capitalism. I do like the fact that we can have competitors come into a market like Minds and Gab and Subscribestar and whoever else, these new tech sites that are emerging, which I think in 5, 6, 7 years will actually be very viable sites, which is why I'm sort of getting started on them now. Now, one other thing I will be doing in the future, I haven't really put too much thought into this, is starting a Subscribestar there, sort of the competitor to Patreon. Patreon has had their issue with eliminating other accounts of dissenting opinion as well, so I'm not really interested in starting on Patreon. But I would be interested in a Subscribestar account. I would want to learn more about it and make sure that whatever I'm doing, if I'm asking for crowdfunding, it's kind of weird because it's like I'm a business asking for crowdfunding. I would make it something where there is some sort of benefit to engage in that to you, either if it's some sort of content or a promotional giveaway or something for people to engage in, rather than just saying, hey, give me money. Even though, of course, I would never turn that down. But with this channel is really just it's something I enjoy doing as an ancillary means of my business. I never expected it to grow to the size that it has, so it's never been looked at for me as my main money maker for myself. That's what my store is, and I just use this channel to promote my store and to promote firearms ownership as a whole. But anyway, I'll leave that whole question of the week on that vein, but I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. If you are looking at getting into starting a gun store, that is a big hurdle that you have to face, and I always ask myself or say to myself, man, how much easier would it be to do this if I just freaking sold cars instead of guns or something like that? Because it would be so much easier. I wouldn't have to deal with that sort of scrutiny. But it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. But I will leave you at that. Let's look at some inventory. Okay, this is one really cool thing I just got in. Like I've told you guys before, I am a Class 3 dealer, and you guys saw the Thompson on 2 or 3 vlogs ago. This excuse me, this is a 1919 A6 fully transferable machine gun. It is in 30-06. This would have been the light machine gun version of the 1919 A4 that we would have used, the United States would have used in the Second World War. We saw the adoption of the Bren gun, the Japanese Type 99, Type 96, hell, even the Italians had a light machine gun roll, the Beretta Model 30. The Russians had the DP-28. You guys get the idea. So the United States, we realized we could sort of eliminate the use of a tripod and sort of have a single man portable light machine gun. And it's funny enough that this weighs like 35 pounds, so it is still incredibly heavy, which isn't that much heavier than an MG34, but it's still heavier. But anyway, we could employ these in the light machine gun role to give more mobile suppressing fire. So this is actually interesting. You see the 1919 A4 configurations pretty often. You don't typically see them in the A6 configuration, but I just thought that this was interesting to show you guys. And if you are interested in purchasing machine guns, you know, we sell them, or, you know, I have a couple. But if you're also interested in selling machine guns, we do buy them, so get in touch with me. Got in a couple more lever guns, the Henry 4570 and also the Rossi R92. This is a stainless 44 Magnum. I had one in 357 a couple months ago, you guys saw on a vlog, but I mean, for only $550, it's actually a heck of a deal on a lever gun. I am in the process of adding a lot more. That's why everything's kind of shifting down and I'm making room for more long guns. But some cool stuff is the Century, the NAC-9. This is a new thing that's come out, sort of an AK pattern 9mm with a blade, and when I call it a brace. That's something that's really, really cool. I like that. A customer actually ordered it in, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna get one of those for the store. And then you sort of have the same thing in the Draco pistol configuration. So Romanian AKs are something that I like a lot. Now, one other thing that's really cool that I just got in is one of the Troy XM177E2s, which I actually got through a distributor, so it looks like they're going through distribution right now. There's the fake moderator. I actually personally think that these look way better than the Brownell's version that they're putting out, and a lot more accurate. Department of Defense acceptance mark, 2-position. It's a metal, I think it's aluminum, I'm pretty sure it's an aluminum stock. Furniture is original surplus. The XM gray that they put on this is actually very nice, looking very close to the original coloring. I only know that because I have original M16 parts kits that I built. And the finish on those is original and looks close to this. And then I know I've shown you guys, I'm sort of pivoting this, the little copperhead down there. Also, where am I at? There, little CMR 30. Those are pretty badass little carbines as well in 22 Magnum. If you have a PMR 30, they use the exact same magazines. So pretty cool if you want to get that in a carbine sort of setup. But anyway, guys, that's sort of the stuff I got in. I will leave you with that, even though we are tilted a little bit. I don't know if that made it better. As you can see, I'm trying to get in more stuff. As soon as I stock my walls a little bit more, I've had some requests on doing gun store tours and stuff like that, which I will try and do as I fill up everything. I've got a lot of gaps down there, which I'm trying to fill up the cases. Then I will do a big tour for starting the summer or something like that. But anyway, guys, I will leave you with that. If you have any questions, let me know by leaving those down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more gun store vlogs or videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell notification. If you could please go follow me on Minds and also on Instagram, I would really appreciate it. Links are down in the description. Anyway, guys, I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. I am Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana. You are watching Marksman TV, and I will see you next time.